Good afternoon, team. Happy Wednesday. I guess it is already. Wow, it's already Wednesday. Okay, so very strong day today as far as price acceleration. Extremely poor in strength, and I'll explain what that means in a second. As far as there was no volume behind the move. So it had a lot to do with probably short covering um, and just the extended on the actual overall market being a little bit oversold. So I have this chart here labeled, and I'm going to talk about it. And I want you guys to, after I finish talking about it, you know what I'm referring to, all these arrows. And I want you to pause the video just for like a minute or two, or even longer, 5 minutes, and just study this. Study like every single little arrow and the reasoning behind everything, so you can learn just the basis on how to read a chart and what it tells you, all the information, all the market generated information you get. So there's no opinions, there's no thoughts, there's no, I think this, I believe this, somebody said this, I heard this on TV. You cut out all that out, and you base your decisions, your trading decisions, based on probabilities, and those probabilities come from market generated information. And basically how I traded today was well, how I trade every day is basically on the same premise: market generated information. And 90% of what I trade on is price and volume. I just look at what the price is doing relative to a moving average, relative to a previous day, a resistance zone, a support zone, and then volume associated with that. So this is the 15-minute NASDAQ, the QQQs. This is yesterday's high. We discussed this in yesterday's video, how we had this nice little run up, and I was taking profits along the way here, and then basically just, got this little gift here. I got lucky from how I was coming into the day long, and cleaned out a whole bunch of that stuff. And then I kept a little bit, and then this morning's gap up got another gift. And as you saw, I was just basically taking profits along the way. And if you notice, I wasn't putting anything on in the morning or during the day. I wasn't putting anything else, anything at all. Like I said, I was not buying anything long. I was not, taking on new risk to the long side. And here's why. I sent a picture earlier, like around midday or so, on this same chart, the 15-minute chart. And basically, I was noticing that, yeah, we gapped up and then we fell back down a little bit. We didn't even make it to yesterday's high. And then when we did rally again, we got just to yesterday's high. And then we sold off again. But notice, this little move right here for the first, 2 hours of the day, it's on decreasing volume. The highest volume bar is right here when you're selling off. Red bar, you're selling off. Huge red bar at the end of the day yesterday. You were selling off. Big volume bars right here. Increasing volume on selling off. And then you start picking up in price, but volume falls off. And then you had this middle of the day right here coinciding with this up move here, where there's no volume, there's no strength. Yeah, you're trending higher. You're obviously trending higher. I see this, and you kind of clear a little bit of yesterday's high, but then you come to this 335, prior resistance that based on this right here, and you kind of hit your head, and then you kind of poke your head a little bit over it, and then what do you do the last half an hour of the day? The last two bars is half an hour, 15 minutes. You take off, and then what do? You increase in volume on the downside. This right here, this last 15 minutes of the day takes out all this. All this right here gets negated, this last bar. And what does it do? It comes back to yesterday's high. So notice those things. And I was, how I was saying about this trend lines, how I was seeing the market, you know, uh, this eventually would fall through this trend line, and we had the beginning of it at the end of the day. So study this because this right here tells you a lot. It tells you a lot. So we go back to the daily, same chart. Here it is on the day. 26% volume decrease from the previous day. That's just not there's no strength on this up move. You come up to right to the 90 MA, you peak above it, but then you close right at it. So you couldn't even get through that, and you couldn't get to the 21. Last time you got to the 21, you fell off. So MT closed at 79, so it's not extremely high. So that's a little bit of a I wouldn't say concern on the short side, but I would have liked to have seen it, like 89, 991 to be even more comfortable with my short positions. But still, even if we go up a little bit higher tomorrow, I'm seeing this 21 kind of pushing it back down again and having like one more flush down, just one more, taking off this low right here, somewhere around here, and then maybe build a base, and then clear the 350 and take off. I don't know. I'm just gonna play. I'm trading what I see, and what I see. Let me clean this. What I see is we're extended to the top side, and this buying came in very low volume. So I'm not really caring for anything that's going to be sustainable to the upside. And then I backed that up with my trading. So basically I took off like 95% of all my long positions. The only thing I have left is Nvidia, and then I actually even covered that with a cover call just in case we go down tomorrow. I have security on those 100 shares. I added USO at the end of the day and SLB just because oil. USO was all the oil ETFs and stocks were being down today just because they've been extended so much lately. So there was a rotation to the Nasdaq technology stocks. So that kind of helped along. The Nvidias, the Teslas, the Apples, the Microsoft, the Facebooks, all that stuff. And then the money came out of the energy sector, especially oil. But oil isn't going anywhere. So I just want to take a little dab on it. Right now I'm about 12% up in that position. Maybe tomorrow, about 30%, 50%, I might take half off, and then I'll see. I'm not gonna round trip it back down to 5% up or anything. I'm guaranteeing at least a 7% return on this. The other one that I took a position on was SLB, and the reason why I bought SLB is because this is a classic breakout retracement trade where you had this trend line here where it broke out right here, and then we took it and then got stopped out. Normally when you have a breakout, you tend to go off a little bit and then come back to that breakout level to retest that, and then you go for the final run. And then it's a low risk entry because my stop is below the retracement. So if it retraces all the way back to 40.85 or something like that, I'm out, which is about 2.5% loss. So actually 3.5% loss. So it's very manageable to let it go back up to 47, 48, 49, maybe even 50, and pick up nice 5, 6, 7, 8 points on that. So that's why I did the SLB trade. I'm trading a retracement, and it's the same thing. It's oil, so it's the same concept as the USO trade. Just oil got beaten down today, and I believe, and this is a pretty solid company. It's got nice breakout potential, so I like how I did it here. It retraced. Now, if tomorrow it comes back lower, I get out and I lose 3.5%. Very manageable, very low risk. And if it takes off a little bit, I'm already trailing it 3.5% and 5.5% according, 50 and 50. That's that trade. The other one I wanted to discuss is a TRGP. I remember in yesterday's video I mentioned that I almost bought it right at the end of the day because it was hitting right at the 90 MA, and I almost bought it, but you know I said I wasn't going to buy anything based on my rules, and I didn't, so I didn't buy it. And most likely today I would have gotten stopped out because it definitely broke below that level during the day. It closed higher, it definitely closed higher, but during the day it broke it, so I definitely would have gotten stopped out. So I would have lost again, maybe like 0.5%, a percent. But either way, I did not take the trade, and I would have gotten stopped out. So that worked out. And look at it today. Today it hit right at the 21. Yesterday, right at the 9. Today at the 21, and then it took off, and it broke above the 9. So it's showing relative strength. And if you notice what I was saying about when it breaks out, when a stock breaks out, it normally retraces back to the breakout. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Look at this. This is the line pivot I had, right? You got triggered. That was the entry right here in the pivot, and we took it, right? 64.29. Where did this come back to? I mean, can that be any more perfect to what I was saying before about when you have a breakout and then if it falls apart, it normally retests before it takes off again, and if it breaks it, you get out. Well, there it is. Let me see how close this came. What was the low of the day here? The low of the day is 64.51. The low of the day is 64.51 above this price. So it came back to retest. It never violated it, and then it took off again. That's just classic, just chart patterns. You see it over and over and over and over again. You know, most of the time when you have a breakout, if it doesn't just take off, it kind of meanders around. It comes back to retest. So that's a nice second entry on that. And then if it breaks it, well, it's the same entry as the breakout. Your stop out is right below it, and then it retests, then it takes off again. So this is classic right here, and that's what I'm trading on an SLB. I'm trading this retracement right here. I'm trading that. So tomorrow it should do this. If it doesn't do this, if it does this, I get out. 3.5% loss. Move on. No big deal. Arch. We talked about this before. Nice nasty sell-off today, but if you notice, where did it close at? It closed above the 90 MA. Showing volume above average, but it's still decreasing volume. The last couple of days, where it's kind of had a couple down days, it's been decreasing volume. And again, this was the breakout. You took it right here. It's coming back to retest. I wouldn't be surprised another down day a little bit. Maybe the 21 meets up to it, hits the 21, and then it takes off. On the other one, okay, I want to discuss SBLK. I had a question on that one. Okay, SBLK. We had this line here for a while. I discussed this a few videos ago, where I gotta take out this 30 range here. So anything over 30.10. Let me see what the actual number is. 30.69. So 30.71. 30.71 will be a SBLK pivot. Okay. This was the entry. This was the entry right here. This breakout right here, and it took off, and it never violated the 9 until, let's say here you would have kind of stopped out at maybe 26. So you took it, you took it at 23. Maybe you had a 3-point move there. That's not bad on a $20 stock. And then it gets really, really wild here. See how the bars are really, really long. Where here there's smaller bars, smaller bars, smaller bars. So it's a little bit wild. See how it's little bigger bars here, and it goes down. Bigger bars here, and it goes down. So these little bigger bars here, it will have more tendency to do this than to do that. So that's why I wouldn't do anything with this stock right now. I will kind of leave it alone. Plus today was a humongous update in the market. and this thing was down 2.5%. Like, this not doesn't show any good relative strength. Okay, so I have a few stocks that I want to go over. This is the third day in a row I'm probably saying the same thing. I'm most likely not going to buy anything tomorrow, and I really didn't buy anything today as far as breakouts and things that I had set up during the day. What I did buy, the SLB and the USO, and I gave my reasoning. The USO just an oil trade, and SLB is also an oil trade because it's an oil refinery, but it's a breakout retracement, so on the pullback. So that's really it. If you notice, everything else was just taking profits. I took today was a really good day, as well as yesterday and as well as Monday. It's been a really good week so far. And then I added a lot of SQQQ. So just to refresh your memory, SQQQ is an inverse. It's a contra. It does the opposite. So if the market goes up, SQQQ goes down. So I'm shorting the market. So if the market goes down, this is going to go up. So that's why I bought calls here. See, it was down today because why? Because the market was up. It was up yesterday and the day before because the market was down. So this is the way to short the market without having to actually short the market. You buy this as a contra. This is an inverse. It does the opposite of the QQQ. So I'm short 7 contracts on this, expecting the market to, not expecting, but the probabilities that I'm trading is that the market is going to go down, very soon. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not Friday, but I don't know when, but there's a higher probability that's going to go down than continued up. And if it does continue to go up, and it goes, this breaks down here below this low right here, I might have to get stopped out and take a, I'm leaving this one for a 5.5% loss, just because I have a little higher conviction that we are going to sell off, just because again, I'm looking at this, and if anybody, you're looking at this, so what are the odds that this goes this, then maybe here to this trend line, and then eventually falls off again. So that's my trade on the SQQQ. All right, so the ones that I'm looking at, again, I don't think I'm going to buy anything, but hey, I'm giving you setups, and if you're nimble, if you're quick, you might want to take you might want to take a not a day trade, but just if you put it on and then you have a quick 10-15% gain, hey, yeah, by all means, take profits and run. So I'm looking at CIVI. I'm looking at 59.76. 59.76. I want to take out this high right here. It's got good numbers. Look at the sales growth. I mean, that's just insane growth. Again, oil, top 50 sector. CIVI. XOM, 8310. XOM, 8310. See what I was saying about you have a breakout right here, right? It broke 8310 3 days ago, took off, and then it's kind of back to retrace. It violated the breakout, but look where it closed. It kind of came back right to the zone, 82.79. That's pretty damn close. So I want to see this be taken out again. So it's basically we're going back to the well. This went all the way to like 82, 84. This went probably to like 85 right here. So that's a nice 2.5 point move in a couple days. So this retracement has a higher probability that if it does work out, it's going to go even higher because it goes up, it retests, and then it takes off for the final leg. So I like it at 83.10 here. XOM. AA, Alcoa. 81.05. Alcoa, 81.05. I want to take off this high right here. This high right here. Again, once this little shelf got broken here, it took off, it retraced, and it kind of came back right to the 21. So I like that. The last time it did that, It was here, and it took off. So it's doing it here. If it takes off, it's gonna have to break, it's gonna have to break 81. So I want to wait to see it. AA. TDY. TDY 451.55. 451.55. I want to take out this high right here. Okay. This one over here is back in November, so it's not really that much in play, and these are just too far back. So this little shelf right here, I like this little cup. Maybe it builds a handle right here, and then it comes back and it takes off. But I want to see it. So, and again, 450 is that that round number that it's kind of like a magnet. Once it's below it, it tends to go to it, and once it's above it, it tends to come back to it. So I need to see it. I need to see a break. Top 25 industry group. We got a war going on, so these sectors are a little bit hot. So TDY 451.55. TDY. UNH 501.10. 501.10. I want to take out this high right here. I could take it from 501.10 to possibly 510. If it takes off 510, I'll add. Okay, I'll add. I won't buy it until it gets there. I'm gonna cheat and get it, get it above 500. If it breaks 500, that's that round psychological number of like the same thing as 100, 200, that century mark. If it breaks it, 501.10, you could easily go to 510, and then maybe come back, and then boom, take off again, just like the 100 play. So UNH. ORLY 688.10. 688.10 right here. That's that high. I want to take off that high right there. 688.10. Again, same thing. 700. That century mark, psychological round number. From 688.10, we can have a nice little 12-point move to 700. Maybe go to 710. At 710, I'll take profits. If it breaks 710, 711, I'll add. At 710, I'm taking profits. If it retraces back to 700, make sure it doesn't break it, then it takes off again, then it can go to like 730, 740, and so forth. Just kind of like it did here, 669 is like 670 number. It kind of went underneath it, but once it broke it, you took it back to you took it up to 710. But you have your retracements along the way. Okay, so ORLY. And the last one, CTVA. 52.41. 52.41, which is right here, taking out that high. This is kind of an anomaly. I don't know what happened here, but it was a pretty high volume. So it hit the 9, and the next day it kind of broke down, but then it retraced. So again, it's building a nice little shelf right here, kind of like SBLK. This one is kind of loose. If you notice, the bars are kind of wide. They're not really tight bars. But it's got good numbers. I mean, 100% increase in earnings. Remember, I'm looking for 25% greater in earnings and or sales. I don't have to have both, but I do have to have one. Okay? And there is increase in earnings here. See? It went from 150, 215, 248 to 92. Top 50, not bottom of the barrel, if I would say. I like top 40, but it's setting up. But I want to see this taken out before I get in. It's holding the 21 relatively okay. See how it broke it here, but it kind of closed above it, and then here it closed just below it. But the next day, which is today, it had a nice 3% move. It's holding its 50. The 50 is going up, and the relative strength line is going up. It's got almost a 90 relative strength, so it's showing good signs. But I want to see it. Okay, CTVA, and that's about it, guys. The S&P, same thing. It's still a higher low. This is still higher than this one, but again, it closed this just as the Nasdaq. It closed right at the 90 EMA. It peaked the head. It peaked its head above it, and then it closed right at it. You still got a 21 downward moving. That you still have this trend line here. So we might have a little thing here, then boom, roll over again. We still have a falling 50, and we have a 200. This meets. We have a death cross. This could easily go to 400. 27-point moves on this. You're looking at another 250 points, almost 300 points on the S&P, which that's the case. You got 4277. You can go down to 4,000 easily. I mean, it's just not. This doesn't look healthy. This isn't a healthy chart. Okay, just keep that in mind. Put it all in perspective. Okay, all right, guys. Have a blessed evening. Talk to you tomorrow.